Hello everyone, George Packard with Family Lawn and Landscape. Today I'd like to give you a couple of tips on closing sales and the importance of closing those sales. First and foremost, one of the things you want to do, the most important thing you can possibly do for your company, is answer the telephone. Sounds ridiculous to even bring up, but I'm telling you, I can call right now 5 different lawn care companies out there, and maybe I'll be lucky to get one of them on the phone. So, odds are, who am I going to hire? I'm probably going to hire that company that I got on the phone because they're professional enough that they're organized and professional enough to have somebody answer their phone. Versus the guy that you have to leave a message for, and maybe he'll get back to you, maybe he won't. What people want today is instant gratification. Okay? Everyone wants it. You want it. I want it. Everybody does. When you pull in line at a McDonald's, you want your food and you want it fast. You don't want it to take 20 minutes. You don't want them to have to kill the cow and then slice a hunk of meat off its ass and throw it on a skillet. You don't have 45 minutes for that to happen. So what you want is you want to pull up and within 5 minutes you want to be out of there with your hamburger and down the road, right? So other customers think the same way. They want instant results. So number one, answer your phone. Extremely important. They've got somebody on the phone, and I'm a true believer in this, and I know other guys say different, but I don't care. I've proven this time and time again. You can bid these jobs over the phone. It is by far your best way of doing business. So here's a good example. If a customer calls up, and this is kind of how you can do this. You're giving them instant gratification because you're giving them a price right over the phone. Me, if I called in and I wanted a price to mow my lawn, I automatically know it's like a headache because I got to call umpteen companies. Hopefully I'll get somebody on the damn phone to talk to me. Then I got to set up a time to come out and meet with them. I really don't have the time to meet with 3 or 4 guys, nor do I have the desire to go meet with 3 or 4 guys. I would much rather just get a price. There's a lot of people out there today in this busy lifestyle world that we live in that are thinking the same way, along those same lines, getting it to them fast, okay? You can do that. You can do it very easily. So, here's a good example of how you do that. Call comes in, you tell them, and these are just hypothetical numbers I'm throwing out there, but here's what you tell them. You say, listen, hi, it's George Packard, Family Lawn and Landscape. How can I help you? Customer says, hey, I need a price on my lawn, and it's just basic lawn care service. That's great. Once they say it's basic lawn care service, I can quote that price right over the phone. On the other hand, if they tell me I need lawn service and I need my shrubs trimmed and the bushes trimmed and the palm trees cleaned out, you start hearing things like that. You can't bid that over the phone because you can't look at that. You can't Google it and find it on a map and measure it and know how big the property is and how long it's going to take you to service because you don't know how many shrubs are there, how many trees are there, things of that nature. So it's not 100% system that you can do, but I'm telling you, if you can do it over the phone, it works and you can land them. You could save yourself, I look at it like it saves an hour out of my day every day. So, call comes in, it takes me 20 minutes to run there, 20 minutes with the customer, and 20 minutes back to the office. So that's an hour out of my day. If I can do it over the phone in 5 minutes, absolutely I'm going to do that. It's better for them, it's quick customer satisfaction, it's instant, all right? Okay, so we talked about answering the phone, we talked about listening carefully now we're going to talk about. Listening carefully to what they say when they're on the other end of the phone. A lot of times they'll talk to you like, hey, I really, I've had my lawn guy for a number of years, but lately he's just not, getting things done and he's not dependable. So the first thing I caught from that conversation was she had her guy for a number of years. That's a good sign of loyalty. That's a good sign of customer loyalty. Now she's at her wit's end, she's frustrated, so she's going to find somebody else. But I'm listening to what's going on here because that lets me know that this is a customer that'll stay with us for a long time if we can make her happy. Okay? Versus the other guy that calls up and just says, yeah, how much is your lawn? How much you guys charge? Well, that guy's kind of a prick. So I'm going to be just as fast with a response back to the guy, and I'll give him what he's looking for. Give it to him fast and whatever. I'm not going to waste a lot of time with him because the guy already sounds like a prick. You know what I mean? So we don't waste time with people like that too much. Got to be professional, but at the same time, when you can tell they're a jerk, get off the phone with them fast. You can tell this guy is tire kicking. Why would you want to spend a half an hour on the phone with him trying to get him? You're not going to spend a half an hour on the phone with this guy and get his business. If you can tell he's a tire kicker just by listening, listen to this guy, listen to his attitude when he called. If he's a tire kicker, don't waste any more time than you absolutely have to, because odds are you're not going to get him anyway unless you're a low baller, which you shouldn't be. All right. One of the things you can do on the flip side of that, if it's this little old lady who, again, had this lawn guy for years and she's just frustrated with him and he's undependable, she's somebody you want to spend some time with, and you want to take the extra time to tell them all the reasons that you're better than the next guy. Tell them you have GPS units in your truck, or your wife does all the book work. You know, they can email invoices and you can pay online, and you know, all the reasons why you're better. Like, I personally work on all these properties every week, so you're going to see me, or you're going to see my manager, you know, once a month minimum, or every 2 weeks, or whatever. And we're always watching these properties, and we always come by and we check them. But whatever your reasons are that make you better than your competition, that's your shining moment to let them know what they are. All right? So, bidding over the phone, number one thing for me. It's awesome. Well, answering the phones first, then number two, okay? Then, if you don't get the job, there needs to be some follow-up calls made. This is where guys drop the ball, and I was guilty of this myself, and I understand the concept now. So, most guys, when they give a price, say it's $100 a month, whatever it is, you give that price, and then they're done. They never do a follow-up call. They never question them again. Well, what we do is, if we don't hear anything in 24 hours, we'll either send them an email or we'll give them a call. And what we're doing is, look, we spent the time to get this done for you. Whether I did it over the phone or whether I sent a manager out there to look at the property, we have money invested. I have money invested in advertising. I have money invested in the girl that answers the phone. I have money invested in the manager I have to send out. I have money invested in the truck he drives and the fuel I put in that truck. I do have an investment in every call that comes in. So therefore, I'm not going to let go of that lead until they do one of two things. They're either going to tell me, no, I've hired someone else. And at that point, I absolutely want to find out the reason why they didn't hire us. I want to learn from that. I want to know, was this just a tire kicker? Or did someone come up with a better sales pitch? What was the deciding factor? Was it the money, or was it something else? You can learn from this, so get something out of it. You put money into it, you advertised, you paid someone to answer the phones, you sent your manager out to look at them. You put money into this. So now get something back. Even if they say no to you, find out why. Get some information back so that it can help you next time get better for your next call. All right? So it's something you can apply. If you consistently hear, it's your price, it's your price, it's your price, well, what does that do for you? It tells you, hey, it's your price. You're too high. You better start bringing it down a little bit. And do not get into the lowballer stage. That's not what I'm saying. But maybe you're on the high end. Maybe you do need to get in the middle of the pack here somewhere, okay? If you hear it all the time, then quite possibly. I know certain areas in the towns that we work in, are the people in those towns, they don't want to pay much. So we don't focus a lot of advertising in those areas. We spend our money in areas where people can afford our services. So that part makes sense to me. So anyway, when you listen to them, listen to the response. And if they tell you, great, you know, hey, you know what, I was going to call you guys. I just completely forgot about it. I'm glad you called. And all of a sudden, boom, you sign them up. So it's one or the other. They're either going to hire you or they're not going to hire you. But at least you're going to know why both ways. And the other thing to remember, when you get them and you get them locked in, and I always do this, is I ask them, why did you hire us? What was the deciding factor? Can you tell me? And let them talk, because you catch them off guard. Most people don't ask them anything like that. You catch them off guard, and then they're going to be like, well, you seem like a nice guy, you know, you guys answer your phone, or, you know, your manager was really prompt. I've heard that a million times. You guys are, within an hour, you know, you had my price for me. Things like that are critical, so they're important. Now we know why people hire us, so now we can apply that more. We need speed, speed, speed. If they're so impressed because we're so punctual and we're so fast and Johnny on the spot type of thing, we need to do more and more of those things, okay? If we didn't get the job, again, because it's a price thing, well, then we know we got to bring our price down a little bit. Or, you know, the guy just says, well, I wanted to hire someone more local to my neighborhood. Well, then, we didn't do anything wrong. It's just they're hiring a guy that does it in the neighborhood. So what, right? But at least you learn something from that. All right. So always directly after giving the quote, what I do when I talk with these people, it's like, as soon as you give them the price and whatnot, I offer them two things. So the first of which is kind of a little trick that I use with people, but it actually works. So here's a prime example, and I'm just going to make this number up for you. So again, let's just use the $100, okay? I'll say I'm going to come in and I'm going to mow your grass for you for $100 a month. And what I say, especially over the phone, I tell them, is I'm like, look, we have a lot of accounts in and around your area, so I'm very familiar with your area, and if you would like, I can give you an estimate right over the phone. And they're like, really? Yeah, I can if you can give me just a minute. And they say, sure. So type in the address, boom, boom, boom. I measure the property. Within 60 seconds, I have an answer, okay? And as soon as I give that answer, and I'll put it like this. Let's say, according to the size, you have approximately 15,000 square feet of lawn area. And again, guys, I'm just throwing these numbers out there. It doesn't mean that they're etched in stone. You're going to have to come up with those numbers yourself. But I'm going to say, okay, it would be $100 a month to come out and maintain your property for you. And if they don't bite on that right away, I'll bring up and I'll say, how does that sound to you? And they'll say, well, it's kind of a little more than I wanted to spend. Say, okay, well, here's an alternative. How about I do it for $80 and I just come and mow it every other week? And all of a sudden, people see that $80 and they're like, well, the last guy was charging me $80, so yeah, I guess that's all right. And you're in, just like that. And here's another little trick to the trade, you guys. You'll actually make more money on those bi-weekly jobs than you will on the ones you mowed every week. So if you come every week, say for example, and you're mowing for $100 for easy figuring, you're getting $25 per cut, okay? Now, if you did it for $80 and made it bi-weekly, what are you making? You're making $40 a cut. Will it take you a little longer? Probably. You're still getting paid way more, right? So keep that in mind. It's a handy-dandy little trick to do, all right? All right, you've got to stay hungry, you guys. You've got to stay hungry after these things. Don't get to the point where you're complacent on the phone. Don't get to the point where you've got so much work that I am so guilty of this. All of a sudden, we have so much work, we don't know how we're going to get through it. And then when the new calls come in, you're just like, I'll call them later, I'll call them later. I've called some of these people a week. Dang it, I should have shut this off. I apologize. We will get back to them. So, again, where the hell was I? Okay, so, yeah, guilty of this thing. Okay, so I'm guilty of it because I would have so much work that I let it pile up and I get back to them a week or two later. And of course they already found someone else already. You know, so don't let yourself get in that position. Always keep calling, line up as much work as you possibly can, okay? Listen to the reasons. It's so important to know why they hired you or why they didn't. You know what I mean? You spent the time. At the very least, guys, get the information from them. So when we're talking about closing these sales, if you listen, number one, answer the phone. 2, listen to what they're telling you. 3, tell them why you're so much better. 4, try and answer them. Try and give them their price right on the spot. And 5, don't take no for an answer. Just get in there and just say, hey, well, is there a reason why you're not signing up today? Is there anything that I can do that would help convince you? And let them tell you what's going on. If they have to talk to other companies, so be it. Let them talk to other companies. You know, they're going to be a tire kicker. A tire kicker's a tire kicker. They're going to do it either way. But I'm still going to call that guy back, and I'm going to continue to call that guy for probably 2 weeks till I realize he's just blowing me off and he's not going to answer the phone. But sooner or later, I'm going to try and get him on the phone and find out why he didn't choose us, because I can learn from that. And I can also learn for why they did choose us. So that helps you direct your attention to what do we need work on, what's really working good. So if they hired us because he really liked our demeanor, then our demeanor is very important to people, and we need to focus hard and heavy on that in the office, okay? Be extremely pleasant. No matter what kind of a day you're having, be pleasant with people, okay? Smile a lot like I do. I'm always smiling. I'm always laughing about something. You know what I mean? I'm laughing right now. You don't even see that? Of course you see that. All right, that's the kind of mentality you need to have all the time. Anyway, this has been George Packard with Family Lawn and Landscape. Thanks for watching. As always, leave me your comments down below as I try to answer everyone. Thanks. See you guys.